President Ibrahim Traoré, President of Burkina Faso, was walking through the market in simple clothes, no suit, no tie, not even bodyguards in uniform, just a plain white shirt, brown trousers, and a cap pulled low over his eyes. Nobody knew it was him, not the meat seller cutting goat pieces, not the woman selling bananas, not even the two young men pushing a wheelbarrow of onions. Why was the president doing this? He had been feeling disconnected from the people his advisors told him everything. It was fine that the country was happy, but his heart told him otherwise. I want to see with my own eyes. He had told his wife earlier that morning. I want to feel what the poor feel, hear what they say when they don't know I'm listening. His wife had looked at him with worry. Just be careful, she said softly. You're a good man, but good men have many enemies. Ibrahim had smiled and kissed her forehead. Don't worry, I'll be back before sunset now, as he moved through the crowd with two trusted guards dressed like ordinary men. Nobody even glanced at him twice until he heard it. A scratchy, broken radio tied to a wooden stick. Breaking news, shouted a young voice. Danger in the palace. Traitors are planning to kill President Traoré tonight. Ibrahim stopped walking. The sound came from a boy, maybe 12 years old, wearing torn shorts and a dirty t-shirt. His radio was taped together with wires and plastic. The speaker crackled, but it worked. He stood on top of an old metal box, shouting, "Into the street," like a news reporter. "Enemies inside the government," the boy said. "They are planning to attack the president during a secret meeting. I repeat, there is a plot to kill the president tonight." Some people laughed, others threw coins into a plastic cup in front of him. Most thought it was just a poor boy pretending to be a journalist, but Ibrahim's heart froze. He pushed through the crowd, pretending to be just a curious man. He walked up to the boy and whispered, "Hey, where did you hear that news?" The boy looked at him confused. "Who wants to know?" I like news." Ibrahim said calmly, "I've never heard anything like that before. Is it a joke?" The boy jumped off the box. He looked serious now. "It's not a joke. Uncle, I heard it myself last night on my shortwave radio. Some men were talking in code, but I listened carefully. They said, 'Tonight is the night.' And they said the president's name. I swear." The boy looked around and leaned closer. "I recorded it. You want to hear it?" Ibrahim blinked his hands, suddenly felt cold. "Yes." He said. The boy nodded and pulled out an old recorder, the kind nobody used. Anymore, it was dusty, scratched, but still working. He pressed play. Static, then voices faint but real. "He must be gone before morning tonight when he meets the council. We have people inside. The guards will be ours." President Ibrahim's heart dropped. He recognized one of the voices. It was someone from inside his own cabinet, someone who had stood beside him just yesterday. He looked at the boy with wide eyes. "Do you know who these people are?" The boy shook his head. "Number. But I know where the signal came from. I traced the frequency. I've been playing with radio since I was 7. My father was a soldier. He died when I was small. I live on the street now. But radios are my world." Ibrahim felt dizzy. The ground under his feet felt like it was shaking. He had come to see the truth with his own eyes, and now he had heard it with his own ears. This boy, this poor street boy, just saved his life. "I need you to come with me," Ibrahim said. "Why?" The boy asked, suspicious. "Because I believe you," Ibrahim said slowly, taking off his cap. The boy stared. His eyes grew wide. You're I am," Ibrahim said. "But keep your voice down." The boy dropped the recorder. "You're the president." "Hush," Ibrahim whispered. "Not here, not yet." The boy stepped back, shaking. "I'm sorry if You did nothing wrong," Ibrahim said, placing a hand on the boy's shoulder. "You may have saved my life." The two guards standing nearby were now fully alert. One of them whispered, "Sir, we must leave now if this recording is real. We don't have much time." Ibrahim nodded. "Take us back, but bring the boy. He comes with me." The boy looked shocked. "I can't go to the palace. I sleep in a broken bus near the train station." "Not anymore," Ibrahim said firmly. Tonight you ride with the president as they disappeared. Into the alley, the crowd went back to their business. The boy speaker was still playing. This is not a joke. The president is in danger, but nobody was listening anymore except the enemies. Somewhere in that crowd, a man pulled out a phone and made a silent call. It's him. He knows the presidential convoy moved like a silent storm through the streets of Ouagadougou. But tonight, there were no flashing lights, no sirens, no sound of screaming tires, just a single black SUV speeding through back roads, avoiding traffic, avoiding eyes inside the vehicle. President Ibrahim Traoré sat next to the street boy who had just shaken his entire world. The boy sat stiffly gripping the broken recorder like it was gold. He couldn't stop staring at the leather, seats, the cold air conditioning, the shiny dashboard. "Is this real?" he whispered. Ibrahim turned to him and smiled. "It's real, son. You're sitting next to the man they're trying to kill." The boy blinked. "So what now? Are you going to arrest them?" "Not yet," Ibrahim said. "If we act too early, they'll escape. We need to catch them during the meeting tonight." The boy leaned in. "What meeting?" "A private meeting at the Presidential Council only. Ministers and top security officers are allowed. That's when they plan to strike." The guards said nothing, but their faces were tight with tension. They had heard the voices on the tape too. One of them spoke finally. "Sir, we need a plan. They won't try anything unless they know for sure you're attending that meeting." "I have to attend," Ibrahim said. "If I don't show up, they'll know we're onto them, but this time we'll be ready." He turned to the boy. "What's your name?" "Ismail," the boy answered. "Well, Ismail, the president said tonight you are part of a secret mission. You helped us uncover a deadly plot, and for that I owe you my life." Ismail didn't know what to say. He had never been part of anything important. He had never even eaten dinner with a real family. And now, here he was sitting with the most powerful man in the country, helping him plan a battle of shadows. "Can I ask something?" the boy said softly. "Of course," Ibrahim replied. "Why do they want to kill you?" The president looked out the window for a long time before speaking. "Because I stood up for the poor," he said. "Because I ended dirty deals with foreign companies. Because I stopped a few powerful men from stealing our country. And when a leader becomes a problem, they want to erase him." Ismail lowered his head. He had seen the poverty. He had lived it. No home, no school, no help, just the street, the dust and a radio that became his only friend. "You're not like the others," he said quietly. "No," Ibrahim agreed, "but not everyone likes change." As they entered the presidential gates, the guards quickly scanned the area. Everything looked calm, too calm. Inside the mansion, Ibrahim rushed to his private study with Ismail and the two trusted guards. He called in his chief of intelligence, a sharp man named Commander Sekou, one of the only people he still trusted. Seek listened to the recording with a stone face. When it ended, he looked at the president and said only two words. "It's real. You recognize the voices?" Ibrahim asked. Seek nodded. "Minister of Defense, possibly the chief of internal security." And another voice, "I don't recognize." The president's heart sank. These were men who had sworn to protect the nation, men he had shaken hands with, dined with. "I want them watched," Ibrahim said, "but don't make a move. Yet let them attend the meeting tonight like nothing happened." Seek nodded again. "And the boy?" Ismail stood awkwardly beside the bookshelf, still holding the radio. Ibrahim walked over to him and placed a hand on his shoulder. "He stays here. Feed him. Give him a bed. He's done more for this country tonight than most politicians have done in their lives." The boy smiled. It was small, nervous but full of pride. As night fell over the city, Ibrahim prepared for the most dangerous meeting of his life. He wore a hidden bulletproof vest his guards carried. Silent weapons. Seek placed undercover men all around the presidential building. But even with all that, one question burned in everyone's mind. How many traitors were still inside at 10:45 p.m.? The council room lights were turned on. Chairs were arranged. Tea was served. Nothing looked out of place by 11 p.m. The council began to arrive. They smiled, laughed, shook hands as if nothing was wrong. But among them were the ones planning murder at 11:10 p.m. And President Ibrahim entered the room, stood. They saluted, they smiled, but his eyes scanned the room like a hawk. He recognized the voice from the tape. The Minister of Defense sat calmly at the far end of the table, sipping tea. The man who had once called him brother. Now Ibrahim knew that same man had said on tape he must be gone before morning. But just as the meeting began, a hidden earpiece in Ibrahim's ear crackled. Sir whispered, Sik's voice. We have a problem. There's a suspicious signal coming from inside the room. What kind of signal? Ibrahim whispered back. Someone is transmitting audio live. Someone is sending this meeting's conversation to an unknown location. There's a spy in the room. Ibrahim froze. It wasn't just a plan to kill him. It was already happening, and he had just walked into the lion's den. President Ibrahim sat still at the council table. His heart was beating like a drum. Sweat began to form on his forehead. He had just heard a whisper through the earpiece, Sir. Someone in this room is transmitting your voice. They're sending everything to someone outside. There's a spy among you. He looked around.